Welcome, dear viewers, to another insightful episode. Today we're diving right into a topic that's been making international headlines: the escalating tensions between the UK and Russia. The current situation is a complex web of diplomatic chess moves, provocative military maneuvers, and controversial statements from key figures. It all seems to be a brewing storm of geopolitical tension, a storm that has the potential to change the world order as we know it. The most recent event in this escalating situation is a series of military activities perceived as provocative by both nations. Alongside this, diplomatic spats have been flaring up, with each side accusing the other of various transgressions. And then, there are the controversial statements from key figures which have only added fuel to the fire. These events are creating a climate of uncertainty and fear, a climate in which the smallest spark can ignite a full-blown conflict. The question on everyone's mind is, will this tension lead to an all-out war? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the topic. To understand the current situation, we must first take a step back and look at the historical relationship between the UK and Russia. It's a relationship that's been marked by intrigue, suspicion, and periods of outright hostility. Let's start in the 19th century with the Great Game, a diplomatic confrontation between the British Empire and the Russian Empire over Afghanistan and other parts of Central Asia. This was one of the earliest instances of a strategic power play between the two nations. Fast forward to the 20th century, where the world wars saw a temporary alliance between the UK and Russia, only for the Cold War to create a deep divide. The UK, as part of NATO, stood in direct opposition to the Soviet Union, Russia's predecessor, leading to decades of political and military tension. Post-Cold War, the 90s brought a thaw in relations with the dissolution of the Soviet Union. However, the optimism was short-lived. The turn of the new millennium saw relations sour again, with disputes over various issues including human rights, cybersecurity, and alleged espionage activities. A significant turning point came in 2006 with the poisoning of former Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko on British soil, an event that sent shockwaves through the international community. In more recent years, the nerve agent attack on Sergei Skripal, another former Russian spy, in Salisbury in 2018 only added fuel to the fire. This historical narrative paints a picture of a relationship fraught with tension, a dance of power and diplomacy, where cooperation and conflict have gone hand in hand. This complex history provides a backdrop for the current tensions. But what's happening right now? Let's find out. In the game of global power, every move counts. Recent activities by both the UK and Russia have only added fuel to the fire. Let's dive into these recent developments a bit deeper. On one side, we have the UK, conducting military exercises near Russian borders, a move that certainly isn't taken lightly. It's akin to a chess player boldly moving their queen early in the game, a daring statement of intent. These exercises, often in collaboration with NATO allies, are a clear demonstration of power and a message that the UK stands ready to defend its interests. On the other side, we find Russia, responding in kind with its own military maneuvers. But Russia's moves aren't just on the physical board. They've taken the game into the digital realm with alleged cyber attacks on UK infrastructure. It's like a stealthy night maneuver in our chess game, a move that's hard to predict and can cause significant damage. And let's not forget the diplomatic sleights, the subtler moves in this high-stakes game. Expulsions of diplomats, inflammatory rhetoric, and public accusations are the pawns being moved forward, each one potentially provoking a response, escalating the tensions. These actions have far-reaching implications. They're not just about the UK and Russia. They ripple out, affecting alliances, trade, and global security. It's a precarious balancing act, where one wrong move can tip the scales towards conflict. But this isn't just a two-player game. Other major powers are watching closely, calculating their own moves. It's a complex web of alliances and rivalries, with each player trying to maintain or gain an advantage. As the tension continues to rise, the world watches with bated breath. The stakes are high, and the potential outcomes are dire. As we teeter on the brink of a potential conflict, the question remains: what lies ahead for UK and Russia, and indeed, the world? The uncertainty of the future brings with it a myriad of possible scenarios. There's the chance for a diplomatic resolution, where both nations could find common ground and avert an all-out conflict. But it's equally feasible that economic sanctions could be employed as a non-violent means of pressure. On the more daunting end of the spectrum, we cannot rule out military conflict. Such an eventuality would have far-reaching implications, not just for the UK and Russia, but for the global community as a whole. However, amid these speculations, a glimmer of hope persists. The international community is not standing by idly. Efforts are being made, both overt and covert, to de-escalate the situation, to steer these nations away from a path of destruction. Only time will tell how this situation unfolds. But one thing is certain: the world is watching,